welcome back once again, all of my low-carb friends. And for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome, welcome. Today, we have another recipe that is by request. Penny McBride had another great idea. She wanted to know if I could make keto crackers so she can enjoy crackers once again with her soup. Of course, I can make keto crackers. And not only am I going to make those keto crackers, but these are the easiest keto crackers you will ever make. They only take 2 ingredients. I mean, how much easier can you get than that? 2 ingredients and you got awesome keto crackers. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to show you also how to make a quick keto chili that goes awesome with these crackers. And if you want printable versions of these, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Also, right next to the subscribe button, there's a little notification bell. Make sure you click the notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. Also, if you're wanting to support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of this video. You'll see some Amazon affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything through my Amazon affiliate link, a small portion will go to me, which will help to support the channel. So even if you don't want the coconut flour or whatever item it routes you to, you just click on my affiliate link, go to the Amazon search bar, type in whatever you want to purchase, and whatever you buy through my affiliate link, a portion will go to help and support the channel. And while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. In a medium mixing bowl, combine 1 cup of almond flour. If you don't like almond flour or can't use almond flour, you can always use pumpkin seed flour or sunflower seed flour. And if you do choose to use any type of seed flour, do not go and buy it already made. It will be more expensive. All you need to do is take the raw shell seeds and put them in your coffee grinder, grind them up as thin as you can, and boom, you've got pumpkin seed flour or sunflower seed flour. So don't go thinking you have to go buy something special if you choose to use the pumpkin seed flour or the sunflower seed flour. I will give you a heads up though, if you do use seed flour, especially pumpkin seed flour, your crackers will probably have a little bit of a green tint to them, which doesn't affect the taste, but it just might look really weird to you. So just give you a heads up on that. Also, if you do use seed flour instead of the almond flour, your crackers will have a little bit more of a nut taste to them, which again isn't bad. It tastes good, but it is a little bit different than if you're using almond flour. So just give you a heads up on that. Add 2 tablespoons of a beaten egg. If you double this recipe, then you'll need to use a whole egg. This does make a small batch, so if you're wanting to double this to make a bigger batch, then just use a whole egg. But in this case, we're just using 2 tablespoons of an egg that's been beaten. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is optional. You don't have to have the salt in it if you don't want it. I personally like flavor to my crackers, so I add a little bit of salt, but it's up to you whether you want that or not. This is all you need for the base of the crackers, but for me personally, I like flavoring in my crackers. I don't just like plain crackers. So I'm adding in about a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder for a little bit of the spice to it. But like I said, you don't have to have these flavorings. This is just my personal preference. Either way, whether you put the salt and the seasonings in or not, once you get the egg and the almond flour in the bowl, use a whisk and whisk these all together until they're fully combined and the dough comes together to form a ball. I'm using a whisk, so I just keep whisking it until all the dough gets combined inside of my whisk. But it works just as well when you use a wooden spoon. Just mix it all up until all the ingredients come together in a ball. Once it's all mixed together, use your fingers and shape the dough into a tight ball. Then press the ball together a little bit just to make sure that everything is fully combined. Then place the dough onto a clean work surface that's lined with parchment paper. Make sure it is lined so your dough doesn't stick to your work surface. Also, the parchment paper should be about the size of whatever baking sheet that you're going to be baking these crackers on. So any large baking sheet will work. Once the dough's on the parchment paper, then press or roll the dough out as thin as you can without it becoming see-through. So around a 1/16 of an inch or so. The thinner you can get the dough, the quicker the dough will cook and the more crunchy your crackers will be. So you want to roll it out really thin, but you don't want it to be see-through. Think of the thickness of your favorite kind of crackers. Like for me, I like wheat thin. So when I'm rolling out the dough, I think of the thickness of a wheat thin. So I try to roll it out to about the thickness of a wheat thin. Also, try to keep the dough in somewhat of a rectangle shape. It makes it easier when you're shaping the crackers if you roll your dough out into a rectangle shape. Once the dough's all rolled out nice and thin, pick up the edges of the parchment paper and place the parchment paper with the dough on it onto a large baking sheet. If you want a little bit of cheese flavor to your crackers, you can lightly sprinkle on some shredded cheese. If you do that, make sure it's just a light layer of cheese. You don't want a lot because the fat from certain types of cheese can make your crackers soggy and they don't crisp up properly. So if you do use cheese, very, very light layer. I'm just using a real light layer of mozzarella. Then use a pizza cutter or a sharp knife. Then cut the dough into the desired size crackers of your choice. Like I said, I usually think of a wheat thin, so I try to cut mine pretty close to the size of a wheat thin, give or take a little bit. If while you're cutting it, if any of the crackers seem like they are a little thick, make sure you press them down so they are all the same thickness and they all are nice and thin. Once the dough's all cut into squares, spread the squares out just a little bit on your baking sheet. Then bake for about 10 to 12 minutes or until they're golden around the edges. Make sure you watch them carefully because they can burn quickly. So for me, 10 minutes was perfect, but what you're looking for is for them to be starting to get golden around the edges. Once they're done, remove them from the oven. Now they're not going to be extra crisp right off the bat. They're going to be a little soft when they first come out. They will crisp up as they set on the pan to cool. Once you've baked them and they're nice and golden, you take them out, leave them in the pan, let them sit in the pan for about 15 minutes so that they can crisp up. Once they've sat in the pan for 15 minutes, transfer them to a wire rack and allow them to cool completely. They will keep crisping up the longer they cool. When they're done cooling and they're nice and crisp, put your desired amount on a plate. You can eat them as a snack with some cheese or some dip, or eat them on the side with some soup or some chili, or whatever you want. Eat and enjoy. In a 5-quart stock pot over medium heat, combine a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes undrained, 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. You can put more or less depending on how thick you like your chili. I like mine somewhere in the middle, not too thick, not too thin. Add a 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, a 1/2 cup of salsa of your choice, and stir these all together until they're fully combined and the tomato paste is smooth. Add 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. Stir these all together until they're fully combined and the seasonings are evenly distributed throughout the chili. Add a 14.5-ounce can of black soybeans. Make sure they're drained and rinsed. You can use 2 cans if you want to. It all depends on how much beans you like in your chili. I usually just use 1. Stir the beans in until they're fully combined. Add 1/4 of a medium onion that's been finely chopped. I'm using a red onion. You can use whatever onion you want. Stir the onion in until it's fully combined with the rest of the ingredients. Add 1 medium yellow squash that's been finely chopped. Then stir it in until it's fully combined with the rest of the ingredients. And if you want to, you can add 1 pound of cooked ground beef. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I like a little bit of meat in my chili, so I usually add it in. Then again, stir it until it's fully combined with the rest of the ingredients. Bring the mixture to a low boil over medium heat, then reduce the heat to low and simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes or until it's heated through and the flavors have set in. Once the chili is done cooking, scoop your desired amount into the bowl of your choice. If you want, you can top it with some cheese and sour cream, eat it with the keto crackers, and eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.